Edward was a lot smarter than that and really wouldn't let them control it because he knew that if it was seen that the Nevilles were pretty much controlling royal policy, then he'd run into trouble, as we have seen through our past kings who decided to get court favorites and so on and so forth. They ended up running into nothing but trouble. Edward wasn't going to fall into this trap. However, this began to put a strain on his relationship with Neville. So Neville, in one of his sweeping policy ideas, decides to go to the King of France, Louis XI, and arrange a marriage between Edward and his daughter Anne. This was done pretty much without Edward's permission or really with Edward's resistance. He didn't want to marry Anne. Okay? He wanted to marry this real pretty girl that he had met. Really pretty girl. Now, she was completely beneath him. Okay? And this is where I've warned a couple of people where my opinions are going to start coming in. While Warwick was negotiating with Louis XI, Edward married Elizabeth Woodville, the widow of John Grey, who was a Lancastrian supporter. Okay, on May 1st, 1464. His marriage to Woodville was criticized as an impulsive action that didn't add anything to the security of England. There was nothing to be gained from him marrying Elizabeth Woodville. Okay? Apparently he was in love, but he was more in lust. He was infatuated with her beauty. Now when it comes to Woodville, how can I put this delicately? She was a gold digger. Okay? She was completely unqualified to be with the king. Okay? Her stature was far too low. Okay? She knew that if she married Edward, A, she would become immediately rich, but it would also raise the fortunes of her family. Okay? Furthermore, to complicate matters even more, a bishop named Robert Stillington said that, hey, you know, before he secretly married this Elizabeth, he was already married. You know, he married in secret somebody else. And there's questions as to whether he actually went through the ceremony with Lady Eleanor Butler, but he did contract Stillington to marry them. So he was considered married to Eleanor Butler, which would have made him a bigamist. The raising in stature of Woodville's family really angered Richard Neville. The Earl of Warwick was pissed. Okay? The Woodvilles were far too beneath to be married to a king, and on top of that, they were no way of equal stature with the Nevilles. So the Earl of Warwick was pretty angry, and on top of that, Edward had completely dashed his plans to cement an alliance with France. So, therefore, in autumn of 1467, Neville instigated a rebellion against Edward with the aid of Edward's younger brother, George, the Duke of Clarence. Oh, George. We're going to hear from George a lot. George is going to be a lot like Neville, and he's going to be jumping sides. Okay? He's going to be against Edward, he's going to be for Edward, he's going to be against Edward, he's going to be for Edward, he's going to be against Edward, he's going to die. So, Edward's army was defeated at the Battle of Edgecote Moor, July 26, 1469, and Edward was captured at Olney. Okay, once Edward was captured, Richard Neville, Earl of Warwick, decided that he really was going to start instituting his policies. And he was pretty much going to rule in Edward's stead. However, the rest of the English nobility said, no way. You're not getting away with this, Neville. We're not going to accept your policy. He's our king, and we stand by him. So, on September 10th, he was forced to release Edward. Now, you'd think that Edward would take his revenge and, at the very least, imprison them in the Tower of London. but likely execute Clarence and Neville. He didn't either. He tried to reconcile with both of them. He said, okay, we'll let bygones be bygones, and we'll move past this and start working together again. We're all on the same team here. Well, Clarence and Warwick said, no, we're not. And they rebelled again in 1470. This time, Edward defeated Warwick, and Warwick had to flee to France. There, he met up with Margaret of Anjou. Warwick made an agreement with Margaret of Anjou and Louis XI of France, in which he was going to agree to restore Henry VI to the throne. And then Louis XI will give Warwick military support for his invasion of England. Okay, so basically